Hello, welcome to another video on the Scouring Early Access. Today's match is going to be a free versus free match with me, the Perfect Gamer, and my allies, Harry Butterglove, this Russian player, Zorvany. Basically translates to blasted or blown up. Anyways, over here the enemies is Attila, and another Russian player, Dimulka or Dmitry, and then Sparrow is the final enemy. And we got a new feature this time where we got a cinematic camera. So I'll try to, narrate the whole game using this nice new feature. Anyways, over here I spawned as the white humans. And I did use all my workers to try and build a barracks really quickly. That way I can start swordsman production really fast. And over here, my first ally, Harry Butterglove, is playing as a signed human player. Yeah, I guess did a very similar build to me. Just made a fast barracks. He's probably going to be making a few swordsmen. But of course, I did make my sawmill over here in my allies base, because this base right here has very low wood, and if you start chopping trees here, then you're gonna have to kill your wolves a little faster than you want to. So that's why I built it there. And over here, my last ally, black player, Zorvany, or Blasted. Looks like he made a few warriors. He's beginning to fight bandits. But I guess they somewhat fixed the bandits. Now they actually fight on top of the barracks, which is, I guess, good fix. And over here, the enemy red player, Attila. Looks like he's just making all the warriors. And he even made a potion crate, so he gets prepared for any kind of assault against his base. So he begins fighting the wolves. But of course, he's a seasoned player, so he knows how to keep these wolves alive, so he can wait for more to respawn. That's usually what he does. And here, the orange human player is Sparrow, and it does look like he made a lot of archers. He's gonna be just farming these wolves here by just repeatedly shooting them with his archers. Anyways, over here, the final player, Dmitry, or Dimulka, playing as purple orcs. I guess made a few warriors, and I'm just transitioning to a full archer production. Now here I begin slaughtering these goblins here, because it's a little faster to kill some goblin archers than it is to try and waste your time taking an outpost. But over here it looks like the purple player also had a similar idea. He also managed to clear another goblin archer camp. Oh, the camera's not behaving. Come on over here. Send my swordsman. Try and take care of this troll, which also is going to give me 200 extra gold that I can use to build whatever defenses I need. Here I tried to go clear this camp, but of course I'm gonna find out that it's already cleared before I get there. And this night script is turned on for the Curse of the Undead, so they are now out of skeleton spawning here, which are gonna be spawning even more frequently in places with a lot of corpses, or usually a lot of dead wolves in the early game. And over here, I made a smithy to try and make a few cannons, because I did expect to be rushed by all the players, because with previous game I did kind of usually beat them if I'm untouched. So that was their plan, and so my plan was to try and survive. And of course, if 3 different players are going to attack me, then they're definitely going to bring their own warriors and archers, so going for a mass swordsman build was my only option, because a lot of archers wouldn't be able to deal with a lot of warriors really well. Here I managed to take over this outpost, or clear it, and I'm going to be trying to capture it. But over here, the orange player manages to clear the other outpost, and now he's going to have to push me away here, even though I had like maybe 1 or 2 more seconds here until to capture the outpost. So this was especially annoying. Of course, here I got 1 cannon blasting away against filthy undead. But of course, orange wanted to taste some lead, so we did blast them away from here. And here I was getting a tier 2, because of course might as well get the shield ability that you can get at the smithy for your swordsman, which would help me survive a little bit. And here I was just making a little guard tower that I can put my cannons on top here in case enemies try to rush me. There will be a cannon blasting them away, but I kind of forgot to use this later in the match. So here I can see a cyan player is killing some skeletons. The black player here is building up another barracks to try and hold this ground here. Here you can see the red player is getting ready. He has auto leveled up warriors. Buy even more potions here. He's going to be leaving a few cannons to defend himself. In the meantime, orange managed to get a second base. And he's beginning to move on a map towards the direction of my base. Let's see over here. Purple player is also moved out on the map. He's going to be taking this outpost, and they're going to be preparing to move their forces against me. But here, of course, I did prepare. Made a few potion crates, and so most of my swordsmen are going to have a lot of potions to use. And over here, I tried to send out a scout to try and see what's over here. And so I do expect to be attacked any time now. And so I tried to move my cannons forward to try and, I guess, hold a line here across the river. But here in the distance, we can actually see the red player send his forces to meet up with a huge army of his other 2 allies. So here I siege my cannons and prepare to potentially surround them with my swordsmen. But of course, the red player manages to send his warriors first. Just gonna make my cannons total ineffective. And so this huge battle begins. I try my best to try and fight the Red's warriors, while distracting the archers here. And here the warriors begin attacking me, but you can actually manually control your cannons. This way you can actually make sure that they keep on firing here. Because if you don't control them, then they're going to be not attacking, because they're going to be trying to shoot this warrior here. So this way I was able to target fire out of the orange player's archers and mostly blast them away. In a nick of time, my ally sends some reinforcements, and I'm here. The purple player decides to lose the rest of his archers. But a few stragglers to get away. But overall, this was a very bloody battle. A lot of losses on both sides. But of course, I did lose slightly less. But I did lose a lot of workers overall to the warriors of the red player. But we can see here, enemies lost all of their armies, but I still have a good handful of swordsmen, maybe like 10. So I'm going to be able to move my position forward a little bit. And here I decided to get a second base, because I knew I lost a lot of workers. I had a lot of gold from all the kills I got. And so getting a second base would allow me to replenish my worker numbers, you could say. Here I try to take this outpost, try to annoy the purple player. Or I guess try to see if he did get a second base here as well. But here, orange finds my troops, and so I'm forced to retreat overall. So look across the map over here. And the black player is kind of defending his side of the map for all the archers. But it's kind of funny here that cannons of the red player can't really shoot these archers because there's no vision here. So they're just looking at each other across this green plain. And over here, the orange player manages to make a tavern. So now you can even produce a few dwarves. That can be useful too, I guess. They're somewhat useful at staying alive for a while, so you can use them as a front line. But of course, they can shoot with their crossbow as well. Here, the orange player wanted to fight me a little bit, or I guess to somewhat nudge the purple player to help him fight. But of course I didn't take the bait, and I just decided to hold this ground. So I'll just make a few swordsmen, piling up a whole lot more cannons to try and, I guess, do the swordsman spam with a lot of supporting artillery behind them. You can see here, Science player's base. All the trees are chopped, which leaves huge open fields of battle. Even made the stables here. Some horses. And of course he did start making a few of his dwarves, which can come in handy in the future. See over here, black player is getting assaulted. Horde of archers, horde of skeletons. But it does look like he has plenty of defenses to defend himself effectively. At this point, the red player and a black player are going to be just defensively skirmishing here. In the meantime, I decide to attack because I did see a lot of archers here. So I tried to bait in the purple player by throwing my swordsman. And this way I was able to just destroy a whole lot of archers for free. So at this point, the purple player just has a lot of warriors and a few flying heads. And here the orange player decides to help his ally. And of course my ally is here to feed, because that's what allies do best. See these menacing flying heads blasting away their magical breath, I guess. Battle begins here against purple player. And in the meantime, the orange player tried to flank me here, which I guess was a bit of a mistake, because it left his purple allies' whole army outnumbered here. And so by the time orange attacks me, I already killed most of the purple player's army. Here the orange player tries to target my cannons and try to maybe go across the map to kill my workers, but you can see it didn't really work out. And so eventually all of his soldiers die, and I don't really lose that much myself. So that was as clean of a battle as it could have been. And I have a big advantage in attacking the enemies at this point. And so of course I do send my huge army, huge amount of cannons, and I'm producing even more. So the purple player is not going to be in big trouble. But of course, orange sends more reinforcements. But at this point, I am able to send my swordsman to fight back. And even here, I can blast away the flying heads of a purple player. Here you can see the orange player's army gets squashed. So there's not much left for the purple player. So he's going to be very difficult for him to defend himself. And so that is why he decides to surrender, because he can't really defend himself any longer. And so this army can be very effective. You just block a lot of ranged attacks with your swordsman, and you can use all of your cannons to destroy any squishy ranged units like heads or archers. But you can also even bombard other enemies with artillery. It's going to make it very difficult to fight against them. Here we can see the black player and the red player fighting each other. It's a very long battle. But I guess it doesn't look like any of the players are winning very heavily. But I guess the red player does have a small advantage because he has shielded warriors. Just gonna neutralize the archers of the black player. And so eventually the black player is gonna need some help. But in the meantime, of course, me and Cyan were prepared to attack the orange's main base. Cavaliers trying to take care of this army, but there are just too many enemies. Too many of our forces here. And so eventually they're gonna get cut down. Even the workers are trying to fight back. But of course, the artillery fights back as well. And so at this point, the orange player surrenders. He's pretty much has no more army left, and he can't really defend himself with the remaining workers. And of course over here, I did send in some reinforcements to the black player, so this final attack of the red player didn't really work out. Anyways, let's see the results here. You can see here, kind of didn't really mine that much more or less than anyone else here, even though I did expand very late in comparison. Here managed to make all the units and somehow managed to survive a big assault of enemies. Even though only Harry Butterglove helped me by sending a few swordsmen to finish off the warriors of the red player. Anyways, if you liked the video, you can leave a like, leave a comment. If you want to see more videos on the Scouring Early Access, then you can subscribe. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.